You guys might remember this little Superscope amp from a video I did a few months ago that I've been using it on this computer here, and it's been great, but the whole time I've had it I've noticed that the power supply is either a little weak or the filter caps are weak or something. Probably just an undersized transformer, but when we're playing it, it dims the power light out pretty bad. Sometimes it almost goes out. So I think I'm going to take it apart and see if there's a way I can beef up the power supply a bit, because this amp has an amazing sound, and I'd love to have a little more headroom with it. But I can try to show you what's going on here. Not hardly dimming at all right now, but sometimes it gets really bad. The old Utah speakers are sweet. But anyway, I'm gonna take a look at this thing when I get a couple minutes here and see where the weak point is. It's probably just an undersized transformer, but nonetheless, this thing's probably never been opened, and it was made in the 70s, I believe. Here's what the inside of that amp looks like. Transformer is kind of small, but this amp is only rated for 10 watts per channel, and it still does an amazing job. There's a couple caps that are out of tolerance on the board there, the really tiny ones. They're 0.47 microfarad. I might give this a quick recap, just replace the ones that are bad, leave the others for later. Main filter cap, that big thing, is only 3000 microfarad, 40 volt. So I think I'm going to put either a 3300 or a 4700 50 volt cap in there. The other two caps are for the speakers, because this is a, I believe this is a, it's not a push-pull circuit. It's also got a very small rectifier, just 4 little diodes there. One thing I can do is hook it up and see if the voltage is dropping at the transformer or just at the capacitor. Can certainly beef up the rectifier a bit, and the transformer would be hard to put a bigger one in, probably not worth the effort, but the filter cap I can certainly upgrade just a little bit, not too much or it could damage the rectifier. So anyway, well, ironically I got everything recapped except for the filter cap and speaker caps, and I need the filter cap the most. But all the small ones are done, including the 2 that were on here. Those were a pain because they were in series with those resistors, but got that all done. There was a few that was actually the bottom of the cap was deteriorating and leaking, so I went ahead and just recapped the whole thing. Got my motivation up enough anyway to do that. Haven't had a whole lot of motivation lately, but I got to figure out what I'm going to do about this cap. I can't find one in my stock that's big enough, so I guess I'm going to try it like it is and see how it sounds anyway. Have a bit of improvement in the clarity and stuff, but without the new filter cap it still dims out just like it always did. But man, this thing sounds nice. I think I'm actually going to bend the rules a little bit on replacing this filter cap. I'm probably going to upgrade it to about a 6800 microfarad and put in a bigger rectifier as well. The transformer shouldn't be hurt by that one bit. It's got enough internal resistance that it won't burn itself up for the half a second or less it takes to charge a bigger filter cap. because I took some measurements, and there wasn't very much voltage drop on the transformer, but there was about a 6-volt drop on the filter cap, which ends up being about 17 or 18% of the B plus on the amp. So it's quite a bit of a drop. And so I'm going to get some parts ordered in. I'll do a follow-up video later. I just wanted to make this so I could do another upload, show how things are going. And so I'll make this a 2-part video. Get that filter cap and bigger rectifier in there and do a comparison. Maybe I'll even hook up the oscilloscope and actually compare the wattage output and see if there's any difference. I'm sure it'll have a lot more dynamic headroom for bass drums and such, because that's really its weak point. But I love this little amp. Superscope, I want to say, had something to do with Marantz later on down the road, or they bought Marantz or something like that, or Marantz bought Superscope. I really don't remember, but it's pretty nice, and I really love these Utah speakers. I'm going to be doing a follow-up video on those as well. I'll be getting my capacitors in a couple days here. Speaking of the Superscope thing, I'm still a little confused on that. Maybe it was Sony that I'm thinking of had something to do with it. Any of you guys that might know a little more about the history of Superscope, feel free to chime in. I'm too lazy to look up a Wikipedia right now. But anyway, like I said, another video coming up. Stay tuned.